Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we are discussing a model whose review has been long in coming. Launched for the 2020 model year, an update of the new for 2018 Tudor Heritage Black Bay 58. This is the Black Bay 58 Navy Blue. 39 millimeters in diameter, the watch is notably thinner than its 41 millimeter bigger brother. That standard Black Bay in 41 millimeters is 14.8 millimeters thick. This one, far thinner, is 12.1 millimeters thick. It's also 47.8 millimeters lug-to-lug, and it has a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs, which is more versatile than the broader spacing of its big brother. You will have many more strap options here. So at 12.1 millimeters thick, this is competitive with its big brother Rolex. And as you can see on the wrist, the timepiece does cut a different figure than the 41 millimeter or even 43 millimeter Black Bays. It's comfortable, compact, suitable for a wrist probably as small as 13 centimeters circumference, and it sits low enough that it could slide underneath a cuff. No issues there. You can see I've got plenty of clearance on both sides of my wrist, and part of the reason this fits so well is because the bracelet pulls straight down from the lug tips, which means there's no flare or fight beyond the lugs like you'll find on solid end link Rolex. A skeuomorph, we have this chain link that is simulated rivet. So we have a bracelet that is designed to evoke the riveted bracelets used in the 50s and 60s jointly by Rolex and Tudor when they shared case and bracelet manufacture. But that is not how it's assembled. Like I said, it's a skeuomorph. It's something that is designed to visually reference something else. It's the form of, but not the substance of. Now you can see how this is actually fit together. The removable links are held in place by screws. So sizing it is just like sizing a Rolex bracelet. There's a combination of polish, outboard, and satin finish over the tops, and then we have a handsome clamshell style locking clasp. So the clamshell locks it in place. You can see the Tudor shield inside the lift lock system, and then there's actually the use of ceramic spring-loaded pin snaps to make sure that over time the steel can never wear down the pin snaps, so the tolerances of this clasp will remain tight, sharp, and essentially like new. You can see there are 3 different apertures inside the clasp, so you can use your strap tool to change the anchoring point and fine-tune the fit. The bracelet, from a substantive standpoint, feels as solid as any made for Rolex. Now, the case here is perhaps more artful even than a modern case. Rolex Submariner lugs became a little bit more tapered and fine for 2020, but right here you can see something that Rolex no longer offers, which is a transitional bevel from the mid-case through the lug hood. This is something that used to be done by hand on Rolex and Tudor cases, and it's been lost to the industrial process. Now, this is all machined, but still, it's evocative and romantic. The lug hoods are satin finished, and you can see that the case on each side is of high polish. There's a little bit of plastic cladding from the packaging on this side, so it looks matte, but it is polished. You can see the Tudor Rose logo, the pre-1968 Rose logo on the crown, which is a little bit ironic because these in-house caliber Tudors feature the shield on the dial and the rose on the crown. You've got a screw-down crown. The watch is 200 meters water resistant. Then you have a unidirectional rotating bezel, and it features an anodized aluminum insert and a luminescent pearl. Let's hear the detent. It's chunkier than a Rolex. The individual detents feel sharper and more mechanical, whereas the Rolex bezel glides a little bit more. Now, what also sets it apart is the micro knurling, which actually does a better job of biting into your skin and giving you a good grip than the Rolex equivalent. The dial is matte blue with applique indices, and it's got a quasi-snowflake going on, as you have the seconds hand and the hour hand, evocative of the old Tudor Submariner snowflake dials of the late 60s through mid-70s. And of course, it has a white chaptering, a white-silver chaptering outboard for reading your seconds as well as minutes. The watch is plenty loomed, and you'll see pretty soon just how much. Underneath the caseback, there is a new movement for this model. The movement is thinner and it is smaller. How much smaller? Well, the standard movement in a 41 is going to be 31.8 millimeters in diameter, and this movement, which is the MT5402, it is 26 millimeters in diameter, like an ETA 2892 or 2824. So it's a drop-in replacement that allows the watch to get a lot thinner. It's also 4.99 millimeters thick, which makes the watch thinner. All good things, but technically, even though Tudor went the extra mile and created a new movement with a new sized base plate for this model, it has the same specs as its bigger brothers, which means automatic winding bidirectional 70-hour power reserve, a hacking seconds function, an 8-beat per second movement. It features a COSC certification, an anti-magnetic silicone hairspring, and it has a full balance bridge with a free-sprung index to make it very shock tolerant. There's a lot to love in here. A chronometer, a dive watch, vintage evocative, still fairly new to the market and very wearable. This one is a jack of all trades and a master of each and every one. Reach out to Tim Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this Black Bay 58 navy blue. And we are back with the Tudor Black Bay 58 navy blue. Note all three hands loomed, something every dive watch should include.